Okay, I'm finally getting around to putting some shoe molding down. I need to measure for these pieces. So I just made a simple diagram of all the pieces that I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and measure each one individually. And normally I use my laser, but sometimes I get better results consistently if I'm not using my laser on shoe molding. 12 1/4. So that's 12 1/4 strong. Now for this inside, we can measure, but I can't really get a very good measurement. So if I do it like this, so instead what I'm going to do is do two sides of it separately, and I'll end on an even number. In this case, I'll use 40. So I butt it up against there, and I've got it on 40 right there. Now what I'm going to do is come back here, and this just gives me a much more accurate result here. So this is 21 and 13/16. 61 and 13/16. So 40 plus 21. Okay. Now this guy here, this is going to be outside. All right, 12 and 15. 16 is there. Same over here. Exact same thing. It's pretty straightforward. But the diagram really helps me out. Measure this one first. Okay, I'm ready to start cutting this stuff now. I've got all my measurements done, and as you can see, you know, having a diagram is nice because I know which pieces are what. What I'm going to do is start with the longest ones first, and that's just the way I like to do things. And then I'm just going to cross them off after I do them. And I'm going to put dust collection on. Even though I'm cutting shoe molding, this stuff kicks up dust just the same. All right, 38 minutes of cutting. That's not bad. Okay, this balcony, the radius part of the shoe molding is difficult. The reason it's so difficult is because I can't get into the corner with any kind of measuring tool. So I'm having to figure out how to get this angle, and it's really, really tight. So what I did was I took my max cut on my miter saw, and I made a 60-degree cut right here. And I put these up. I used a real short piece so the radius wouldn't affect the angle. And I put it in the corner. Well, it didn't even fit into the corner, okay? So we are so far away from it being good. What I figured, and this is just estimating, that we probably need to divide this in almost half, essentially. So the only way to do that on a miter saw is to perform what would be considered a dangerous cut, and that is I can put one of my sacrificial squares up here, and theoretically I could clamp it, take the shoe molding and put it up there right where it's going to cut off basically just that tip right there, and as soon as you're at that point where you can see the shadow line from the laser or the blade, you can tell where that's going to cut, and should be right in line with what I want. So it's at 15 degrees. So that 15 plus that 60, I'm yielding this angle that I want. But this is not the safest of cuts, because you know obviously we've got a, you know, there's nothing that is great about this. So why don't I go ahead and try it and see what happens. All right, so now I can take this piece and make it small. So we got two pieces now. So let's go see if that fits. Won't that be interesting? All right, so you can see here, it's like really hard to get in there. But it actually looks really pretty good. Wow, that's actually really good. I mean, my God, it's almost perfect. It's a half a degree off from being like absolutely perfect. I'm gonna add a half degree onto it, and that is money. I just thought of something. I don't want to add a half a degree. I need to subtract a half a degree. I'm going the wrong way. I'm thinking of it like it's getting greater and greater, but really what I wanted to do is get shallower and shallower on this particular cut, because I'm cutting it like this instead of, yeah. So this is ultimately what I want it to be. So right there. Okay, now how to cut these without getting my fingers chopped off. I need to make 4 cuts really, you know, just to be maybe on, you know, be on the safe side, go a little long. All right, so we'll probably go like 84. Okay, so that being said, enough of my rambling. I need to cut this guy. So these are great, but perhaps maybe I could have something a little bit bigger. That guy. See, if I use that, I can clamp it. That's, at least that would be clamped, so that would be better. So we'll go ahead and clamp this guy right to there. We go ahead and cut this. I feel like I can hold that easier. All right, so that's done. Now I got to do well, this other one. Let's go upstairs and see how these fit. What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? Are you in? You want to be in the picture? Hey, don't grab my pencil. Don't grab my pencil. Okay, so I've got these pieces. Got to check to see how they fit. I don't know how I'm going to get this in. Seriously, I don't. If it's finger jointed, I don't think we're going to get it in. I think it's going to break. So, soaked it in water. That was real. There's just no way that's going to bend. So one option is to get water, soak the thing, let it bend that way. That might work. The other option is to get bendable base shoe molding, but I hate that stuff. You know, it's rubber basically, so I don't necessarily love it at all. But with this radius, that might be the only thing. The other option would be to use like a 1/2 inch instead of the 3/4. 1/2 inch would probably bend, but I can't use 1/2 inch on this and then 3/4 on everything else. Don't you think that would look really weird? So I think I really need to just get the bendable stuff. That sucks.